This is Mr. Toups. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to start going through your Algebra 1 note packet. The packets you get will be for each test, okay? So we'll generate, every time we take a test, you'll get another packet. This kind of helps it organize. This is your notes, okay? So this is the first day of notes. We're going to do page 2 and 3 in your notes. So make sure you put your name on your packet. Make sure you put your name on your packet, okay? And don't lose it. If you're face-to-face, don't lose it. Obviously, you're home. Don't worry about it. If you don't have a printer at home, you're going to have to write this on your own paper, okay? So we'll go through the first part. Okay, so the first blanks, okay, to solve an equation. Using inverse operations to do an operation to get the variable alone, okay? A symbol, usually a letter that is unknown, that's going to be a variable. Is a number with a fixed value, that's going to be a constant. Okay, a numerical or constant quantity placed before multiplying the variable in an algebraic expression, that's going to be a coefficient. Okay, so the 14, the 7, the negative 7 actually, the positive 10 and the negative 2 are all coefficients here. What a blast, okay? Now then, this year it's going to be 6th grade integers. If you could do 6th grade integers, you got this, okay? So remember also you have a calculator. Can't do the whole thing in a calculator. You cannot use InSolve. Okay, InSolve won't be allowed this year, okay? So when you do try to go to InSolve, it will not work on the calculator. So make sure you're not using that. Okay, this right here is some basic rules. Okay, try to think of this as a 6th grade math. I got 4 negatives and I got 6 negatives, don't I? What do I have more of, 4s or 6s? I got more 6s, don't I? Since I have more 6s, this negative is going to drop. Now then, these are negative and these are negative. How many negatives would I have? I would not subtract these, would I? So I'm going to add them and get 10. Try to get the sign first and the number. Sign, number, sign, number. If you get the sign first, you're going to do good, okay? Okay, let's go to this one. These have decimals. It's going to be okay. We have 4.5 negatives and we got 11.65 positives. So we have more positives than negatives, don't we? So the plus is going to drop. So find the largest quantity and drop it, okay? Do you have more positives or do you have more negatives? Now then on this one, the signs are different, so I'm going to subtract. You can use a calculator if you want. I don't have to, so 417, right? So 7 and 1400ths, okay, would be that answer. And technically, you don't have to put the plus, do you? Now then, if you were to punch that in on the calculator, you would get 7.14. On the test, we would assume you would do that on the calculator. Okay, let's go to another one. Let's subtract a fraction, okay? It's going back to 5th grade when you added the subtractive fractions. My denominators are 10 and 4. I need to get the LCM, don't I? Or the common denominator, the least common multiple. Which denominator is bigger? That's right, 10 is more than 4. So write down 10 over here. Will 4 go into 10? It won't work, will it? So I'm going to put 10 times 2 is 20. I'm going to keep writing multiples of 10 down until 4 goes into it. Will 4 go into 20? Ding, 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 ding. 4 works, right? So my common denominator will be 20. So make 2 fraction bars, put 20 and 20. What do I multiply 10 by to get 20? Over here on the left, I'm going to put a times 2. So 3 times 2 is 6, and 2 times 10 is 20, right? I'm going to have my minus. What do I multiply 4 by to get 20? I'm going to put a little bit times 5, right? 4 times 5 is 20. 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, if I had a lot more time, what we're doing is making the pieces like this would be 3/10 of a cake. This would be 3/4 of a cake. The pieces are not the same size, are they? So when we slice them up even more, the pieces become the same size. So that's why you're getting a common denominator, so you're combining the same size pieces. Now that each cake has 20 pieces in it, this cake has 6 and this cake has 15. Now then, what do you have more of, the 6s or the 15s? You got more 15s, don't you? Which is negative. So I'm going to put down a negative and take the small one away from the big one. So 6 away from 15 is 9, and my denominator will stay 20. These calculators will do fractions, won't they? So technically, you don't have to be able to do that. You can type that into the calculator and work it out. Don't panic if you can't do the fractions. The calculator will do the work for you. And on the last one, we're going to group these, negative 2/3 and plus 7/12. What's my biggest denominator? That's right, it's 12. So we're going to put a 12 over here. Will 3 go into 12? Ding, 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 it works, doesn't it? So I'm going to draw 2 more fractions. I'm going to make this one negative, and I'm going to put 12 on the bottom. Okay, what do I have to multiply 3 by to get 12? I'm going to put a little bitty times 4. So 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 4 is, that's right, it's 8. And over here, this is just going to drop because the 12 won't change, will it? Now that up here, this cake is cut into thirds. This cake's cut into 12s. What just happened? Now we have both 12s, right? Both cakes have 12 pieces. This cake has a negative 8 as a denominator. This cake has a positive 7. So what do you have more of, 8s or 7s? You have more 8s, don't you? Since you have more 8s, you have more negatives. So that negative will drop. Will you add or subtract them? You won't add like different signs, will you? So you'll take the 7 positives away from the 8 negatives and you'll get 1, won't you? And the denominator won't change. So you'll get negative 1/12. Remember, you will have a calculator to do this. So that's going to be pretty simple with the calculator to work that out. Okay, let's go to the next page. To solve a one-step equation, isolate the variable by using opposite operations, by using inverse operations. A lot of words you could put in there. Okay, so we're going to do the opposite to get the answers. Now then, I'm going to show you how to do these with more power, okay? Step 1. And this is just one step, so we're not going to do this today. Let's don't write down step 1. So step 2, write down combine the variables. You won't have this today because there's only going to be one variable. Step 3 is to combine the constants. And step 4 is to divide the coefficient. And I will show you how to do those more in detail. Basically, we might have to divide, we're only going to do one of these steps on this page. So it's going to be pretty simple here. And I'm going to do one on each row and you're going to do the other. So you're not going to have many to do. I'll probably give you some extra problems to do. Okay, let's start on the first one. This one has more negatives, don't it? So let's go over here. I'm going to show you a trick, okay? This is the way I teach. Put a bar through the equal sign. Now then, you want all of the letters on one side and all of the numbers on the other side. So I have a variable, a constant, and a constant. I got to get these two together, but they're on different sides, aren't they? The letter or variable is on the left. So all of the numbers have to go to the right. Okay? So draw an arrow from the 4 to the negative 2. I'm going to take this negative 4 and merge it with the negative 2 arm. To move that negative 4 across, we have to do the opposite operation. And the opposite of operation is plus 4. Draw a bar. So the 4's on the left cancel out, and we would get x equals negative 2 plus 4. Which one's more? Do you have more 4's or more 2's? You got more 4's, so the sign's positive, and you'll take 2 away from 4 and just get a positive 2. Okay, so we have fractions down here. So let's go over here to our directions and write the first step, get rid of fractions. I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? Before I do that, let's do this. You did this in 6th grade. Okay, y'all remember what this is called? This is a distributive property, aren't we? So we're going to take our constant and we're going to distribute it to the 3 and the 4. I like to imagine this as the Bluebell truck. So if you have a job driving the Bluebell truck, You're gonna drive that Bluebell truck to all the stores and drop off the Bluebell ice cream, right? You're gonna be distributing Bluebell ice cream. So this is our Bluebell truck, and the numbers inside the parentheses are the stores. So I'm gonna take the Bluebell truck and I'm gonna drive it to the 3 and the 4. Then when the Bluebell truck gets there, it's gotta multiply. So 2 times 3x is 6x, and 2 times 4 is 8. That's called the distributive property. You did that in 6th grade, should have repeated it in 7th and 8th. Okay? Remember, I've taught 6th grade all the way to seniors, so I know you were taught what and when. Okay, now then we're going to do the same concept down here. And let's do question 3 because it's harder. Try to think of this here. What is the opposite of divide by 4? What is the opposite of divide by 4? Okay, the opposite of divide by 4 is to multiply by 4. So to get rid of a fraction, let's write down distribute the denominator to the equation, to the whole equation. This is going to make life easy. Okay? So our denominator is 4. What does it say to do? Distribute it to the whole equation. So this 4 is our Bluebell truck. It's going to go to the 3 and the 9. So put a little bitty 4 above the 3 and above the 9. Along with me. So I'm taking the denominator and I'm distributing it to every term in the fraction. What's the opposite of divide? It's multiply, right? What is 4 divided by 4? 4 divided by 4 is 1. These are going to cancel out, aren't they? That's why we distribute the denominator to cancel out the denominator. Now then on the left side, I just got negative 3y on it. Equals, and what will this be? 4 times 9 is 36. And the last step, if you look over here, we had to do 2 steps on this one. The last step is to divide the coefficient, right? Okay, so I'm going to draw 2 fraction bars and I'm going to divide by negative 3. The negative 3 is my coefficient. The negative 3's cancel out, just like the 4's did, right? And I'm going to get y equals a positive divided by a negative, 6th grade integer. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. And what's 36 divided by 3? That's right, it is 12. So the answer is negative 12. Okay, let's go over here. What would you distribute on